Yeah, that's right. I'm already banged up. You know me. I got, I got a lot of issues. I got a lot of issues. Okay, we'll get started here again. Very good win on Saturday. Proud of our team. Gets hard late in the year. Um, the mental and physical drain that it takes on our players. I don't think people appreciate that quite enough when you go through this schedule. And it's easy to say, and people want to pick apart, well, this team's not that this year and all that. Well, part of it is because we play in this league, and we devour each other as the season goes on, and people get beat up. Unless you're absolutely elite with elite depth, it takes its toll on just about everybody. You could just look at that, just looking around the league at the records. I mean, when it's all said and done, I'm proud of the team, the fact that our team will have a winning SEC record, because at the end of the day, there's going to be 4 or 5 teams in our league, maybe 6, but highly unlikely, probably 4 or 5 that have a winning record in the SEC. It's hard. So proud of our team. It was a good victory after a tough stretch to bounce back and to come out so strong and play so good early, kind of take the pressure completely off us and put it squarely on Vanderbilt and play such a good first half. Second half, again, it felt worse than it was. Offensively, I felt again we were in complete control. We get the ball and driving it right down the field and get a penalty or two. So that stopped that drive, and then later we got a good drive where combating one of their, as they get a possession, it may have been 2, when they were moving the ball, and we get the ball backed up and have a 7-minute drive. It ends up with 3, but puts us back ahead in the comfort zone again, which was a good drive. We'd have liked to capitalize and finished off with a touchdown there. And then the next drive, we get it backed up on the 15, get a couple first downs, and get it out of there, and just winning the football game, relatively comfortable. Rather, like to see us make some stops, as I mentioned, defensively, have a couple opportunities there to get some stops, but overall good victory. And looking forward to getting back at practice this week, getting ready for New Mexico State, and trying to get our 8th victory of the year. I encourage and ask our fans to continue to come out and support. It's been an amazing year as far as their presence in packing the stadium. We greatly appreciate it. This will be the last time quite a few players are playing in this stadium, and we ask for your support to come finish this thing off with our last home game this week and Senior Day. So greatly appreciate our seniors. They've meant so much to our program. You look at some of the guys that have been here 6 years, and arguably, one of the greatest 6 years in the history of this school. So really appreciate those guys, and what they've done and the impact that they've had on our program.
Luke Porter's one of those old guys that's been around forever. What has his move meant for the team this year, Center, and how do you think it's going to help him?
Yeah, I think it's just been a great move all the way around. It's been really good for our team, because to replace somebody like Drake that's so intelligent and can direct so much, he's done that. But then you bring in Luke, and it's really helped him and shown his versatility. More size than Drake, and I think it'll help him moving forward and give him an opportunity to play at the next level. He's got like 5 degrees, so if he didn't make it in the NFL, I think he'll be all right. But I think he'll make it in the NFL.
By my count, I think there are 3 guys on the roster listed as seniors who aren't on the Senior Day list. Does that mean those guys are using the extra year? Or?
Yeah, don't read too much into that. I mean, we had guys walk last year that are playing, and that aren't walking again because they're like, dude, I walked last year, So we're like, well, you played another year, at least get the shirt. You know what I mean? So we'll give them a shirt. And so don't read too much into that. We've tried to be very thorough with the COVID year. It makes things a little bit complex, and some guys may walk and come back, so don't read too much into that. It's kind of what they want to do.
You mentioned tough to conference play has been this year. With the conference portion of the schedule being over, can you appreciate now that it is over?
Well,
You got left with 2 non-conference games.
yeah, I can appreciate it. Yeah, it is. It's tough. You know, we went through a tough little stretch, and I wish, like always, you look at any year, and you wish you could have a couple plays. You know that a couple series. You know, a lot of what ifs, but overall, you know, very proud of our group and did a lot of good things, and certainly finished a lot higher than most people predicted in the East. I could probably promise you that. I don't really look into it. I wish I'd have saved some of that, but I guarantee you, you know, most people had us not as high as we did.
When you're looking at those conversations on the seniors, are you starting to have those now, or you wait till the? Because I mean, with the COVID guys, I can imagine, you know, or just as you're making decisions about.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of conversations, and with COVID and with Senior Day, I want to make sure I do these young men, you know, and their families properly. You know, I mean, like, do you want, you know? So there are a lot of conversations that needed to take place. Like, what's your plan? Do you want to walk? Do you want to, you know? And so, yeah, that's why I said don't read too much into it. Like I said, some guys walked last year, and guys like Luke, you know, and he's like, I don't need to walk again. You know what I mean? So. And then some guys will walk and then make their decision later. After the season, they'll make a decision whether they decide to come back or not. So
Definitely decided to come back at this point.
I'm not prepared to talk about that right now.
Mark, you've worked to change the culture here. You've talked about that. It wasn't that long ago that if Vandy beats Kentucky, nobody's surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And yet now you're getting knocked a little bit for the way you beat Vandy.
Yeah.
Is that progress?
You tell me, Dick. I mean, did you like it the year before I got here, playing them?
Not so much.
Yeah, well, I imagine not.
It was real easy to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark, as you guys are sort of pushing corners, how close is Andrew Phillips to been on to help you guys out?
Pardon me?
Andrew Phillips.
Yeah, we've got a. He's close, and he missed a lot of time, unfortunately. You know, he missed all that time in the spring, and you know, he got you know, quite a bit of time taken away from him. But we'll continue to bring him along and try to get him some reps, and hopefully down the stretch here we'll get him some playing time because he's getting closer.
You're talking about seniors. Could you talk a little bit about Josh and how things are wrapping up for him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't say enough good things about Josh. I've bragged on him, you know, and he deserves it. He's just truly just, you know, one of the most special players, you know, I've ever been around, and spent some time talking with his parents a couple weeks ago after one of the games. And, you know, I mean this, you know, I've coached a long time and some really good football players and some amazing individuals. And you know, he's if not number one, it's hard to beat him, you know, as far as a person. Again, the way he empties his tank, the way he goes about his business, the way he impacts players, he leads. He's so selfless. He's overcome so much. You know, plays and empties his tank every day. And you know, one of the most special players, if not the most, I've ever coached.
He seemed a little on the shy side when he got here, like a lot of freshmen. Can you talk about how he's evolved? You just referred to his leadership.
If you remember back in the day, like even when we recruited him, it was very like matter of fact. There's no bells and whistles with him. He's not worried about anything. He just simply, yeah, that's it, I'm coming. Like, really? No, coming. Okay. And like everything he says, he means, he does. So there's no BS. When he says that's it, Coach, I've decided I'm coming to Kentucky, that's it. And he's been here and he's been all in every day since. And that's just kind of how he lives his life. He's remarkable. He's very mature. He's very strong, and you know, he has a great impact on people. And one of the most sturdy, I guess you could say, sturdy or strong, you know, young men I've ever been around. Strong in his faith, strong in his work ethic, strong in everything that he does.
What does it say about your team that him, McCall, and there were a couple other guys that, even though things weren't always going well in that second half, that the sideline was still getting
Yeah, and I think that's, shows them. And I think that's where, they need to continue to lead in these last, 3 games that they're going to be a part of. And, the young people in our program, the leadership, program that we have, and it always starts with leading oneself and then impacting your group and then leading a team and so on. But some young guys right now, they mean well, and I think guys press and they want to do well for their teammates because this team cares about each other. But how they respond to adversity, they can still teach young people because they've had their fair share of adversity and the no flinch, if you will. But you know what I'm trying to say. Like there's going to be ups and there's downs, and just respond. And right now, some of our young guys, need to understand how to respond better, because there's going to be adversity in your life. There's going to be adversity in football, and there's going to be highs and lows. And we need to continue to bring those young men along and realize how to respond to that.
One of those young guys that he plays with an edge, but sometimes he crosses that line at veto. But just how do you try to keep him on the right side of that line?
Well, he will stay on the right side of that just by coaching and bringing him along and developing him and more and more experience. Once again, he missed a boatload of time, and that didn't help. That didn't help his progress. But we've got to do a good job of coaching him, showing him, and bringing him along. And he gives us some juice that we need. He gives us some quickness, some suddenness, some coverability. But there are certainly times, even in this last game, where he was erratic, and he needs to settle down, hone in, and really focus on the little things to become a great player.
First remark, revisiting the first situation. Talk about Justin Ryder. He's gone through a lot.
Yeah.
Talk about what you see in him, how he plays Saturday, and all that.
Well, Justin is a great example of coming in as such a highly recruited young man. Went through a pretty serious hip injury. Probably slowed him down a bit. When he got here, and he's been forced into action this year with Marquand going down. And this Saturday was definitely the best game he's played, and that was really good to see because he had a little nagging injury prior to this game. And, he overcame that and kind of pushed through the type of, not injury, but he pushed through the type of pain you could play through and really sacrifice and play well. And we needed him to. And so he's done a lot, and hopefully that'll give him a lot to build on because it was definitely one of his better games, one of the better games of all of our defenders this past week. And so hopefully he'll continue to build on that.
Josh, his position may not be the easiest for laymen to evaluate. What do you see from his kind of NFL prospects?
Yeah, he's I would be, he'll play in the NFL. There's no doubt. He is definitely a tweener because he could play, that could be a good thing. But he is versatile, and and so he'll get a lot of looks, and I think a lot of people are really studying him to see where they might fit in their system. If you're a 3-4 team like we are, he could still go outside and be such a sturdy, stout first, second down Sam or Jack in that league, and he's hard to move, but he's also versatile enough to go inside and predictable pass. 4-3 teams, a little different because of the size, but he could go in there. I had a guy I coached by the name of Earl Mitchell at Arizona, that he was a fullback for us, and we moved him to a 3 technique and a 4-3. He played forever. He might still be playing. Earl played forever and was an impact, 3 technique, a little shorter, but played forever and was a great player in the NFL. And so that's what I remind teams of as 4-3 players. He's every bit the player Earl was, and Earl was very successful and played a long time. So he's versatile enough and getting a lot of good looks. So a player like that, no matter what you are, you want them on your football team.
Mark, looking at this list of seniors, the guy who kind of quietly has had a big impact here is Yusuf Walker.
Yeah.
What's he sort of into the secondary?
No, he's been sturdy. He's been an anchor for us the past several years, 2-3 years, and he's one of those guys that's there every day, and just the physical as heck, and just very reliable, and always working hard and trying to influence and impact others and take charge. So I have great respect for Yusuf.
How do you get some of these guys? I know they should be the ones to keep everyone on track, but this is a distraction of sorts. How do you make sure that they are?
What's a distraction this week?
The senior day ceremony before the game. How do you make sure they're locked in?
They've been through more than this. You know what I mean? I don't consider that a distraction. Different, yes, but by the time they come through and are here as many years as they are, they'll be able to handle that. I think excited family here. They'll take the 10 minutes it takes to go through senior day or whatever, come back in and regroup and want to go out there and play well. So I think that's part of the experience, to be able to handle things of that nature with no issue.
How do you think Marquand played in his limited snaps?
He did good. I was glad. It was good to see. It was good to see him go back to being disruptive. There's not a ton on the production sheet as far as all those, but he still has an impact on the game. And that's kind of who he is. And so, hopefully that gives him the confidence to build on that.
How much of an emotional lift does Marquand provide to you? Or is that part after Justin Rogers got that sack, he was kind of being held back by the coaches? But how much of a boost does he bring just to have him back out there with the guys?
Without a doubt, he's one of those guys that brings the energy, brings the juice. Players like seeing him. They're more confident with him on the field. So he means a lot to our group, and it was great having him out there.
Outside of the production on the field, how has Liam handled this year being a first-year coordinator, having to go against a brutal league, just as a learning experience?
I think he's handled it exceptionally well, because as you know and experienced through the years, it can really beat you up. It's hard. It's extremely hard to be a play caller on either side, because we see such a variety. On both sides of the ball, and in special teams, you see a variety of things. You have to be so well prepared for so many different things, and he's handled it extremely well. Our players are extremely confident, and that comes from him and the leadership that he's shown, and being adaptable and learning. Because it is different. It's different than the NFL. We have a little bit more flexibility with certain things and trying to take advantage of that. And, in a critical third down Saturday, new formation you can't run in the NFL. When we ran Q power out of an unbalanced set, you can't do that in the NFL. So that's the type of adaptability that you've seen with him.
What's your relationship like with Doug Martin? Does it mean anything else anything extra that he's a former UK guy coming back to coach back here in Lexington? No,
I just know, probably he'll be motivated coming back here, and because he certainly was the last time. They played very good, and so we just got to worry about ourselves now. He's obviously a very good coach, gave us all we can handle the last time he was here, and so we've got to be worried about ourselves and prepared for us, and go play a good football game. So he's done a really nice job, and like I said, the only last time that was the only and the last time I played, right? Yeah, they really had an opportunity to beat us, so we better be locked in.
Do you consider this a dress rehearsal, in terms of the way they throw the ball all over the field?
I would never use that word, so don't put those words in my mouth. But does it any opportunity we try to get better at? Yes, in different styles and different things. Yes, as far as trying to play well to a team that'll spread it out and distribute the ball and free release the back and kind of put stress on you in good ways. Yes, we try to get better, but I would never use. So don't put that in my mouth.
You talked about that last time they came here. That was kind of the day that run started. That was Benny and Steven. I think that was their first game that they really did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about that?
I don't really, to be totally honest, man. There's stuff going through them here from last Saturday that I'm trying to still process. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Mark, you just finished running a pretty strong gauntlet of your own in the league. Now you get a non-conference team that's been struggling a little bit. Are you concerned at all about focus?
I hope our team learned, throughout the course of this year, you know what I mean, and and has matured, and that's what I will challenge them with is, we always talk about that about ourselves, no matter who we're playing, and we could be playing the number one team in the country or somebody, that's struggling. It doesn't matter. It's truly about us and what we do throughout the week, and you guys probably hear that so much that you think, oh, that's coach speak, but it's the honest truth. I mean, and so our guys need to we need to fundamentally get better at some areas where we're not playing good still. I don't care what game it is. We need to worry about ourselves and play the game. I've always talked about respecting the game. The game does the main, the game just absolutely commands you to respect it and do things right, or you will not last. And so, that'll be part of the message.
Devontae has shown such resiliency over his career here, bouncing back from injuries. How can he be used as an example to some of the younger guys? Like, hey, look, if you hit a bump in the road like Devontae, you can still persevere and have a great career.
Yeah, I think just like you said, the perseverance of it, and just the attitude and the toughness that Devontae has demonstrated, and I think Devontae be the first one to tell you that he has grown. He's really grown up and grown through the ups and downs. And anybody that has done that, and you have to have great respect for, and it'd be a great legacy for him, no matter what he's done here, the highs, the lows. I just appreciate Devontae, and he has really been through a lot. He's stuck through it all, and is still there every day, and I really respect him and appreciate him.
Mark, how big a luxury, or your punter gets hurt, you have a walk-on who comes in and been leading the Southeastern Conference?
Yeah, he's hitting some punts. He's booming some, and we've seen that in practice the past couple of years, and so it's really nice to see that. Yeah, it shows some good depth, and gave us a different style to go more pocket, so it's been good.
You've had some long Sundays this year. What was yesterday's Sunday like watching that tape?
It was still long. So it's not neat. It's hard playing those road games, at night, so we've had a long stretch of them, seems like, too. So being tired is just part of it. Hence why you see that constantly. So you just fight through. Yeah.
Where did you first go to? Like, I guess when your immediate takeaways from watching the film.
Again, I think proud to see some really good things that as a team we played complementary football early, and that's part of it in a game like that. If you feel like you're a favorite, or if you feel you need to start fast and really set the tone. That was their senior night, and they had like 30 guys walk, and those are very good men. You know what I mean? To come through that program and have 30 guys walk in. I mean, they have a lot of pride. Coach has done a really good job with them, and so they were going to come out strong, and that game meant something to them, and we had to match that intensity, and again worry about ourselves and playing well and playing clean, and I thought we did play relatively clean early, and then late again the second half. I think offensively we still were in really good shape. That was the only time, like the first drive we were rolling and had a penalty called. I don't know who the penalty's called on. They said 79, but it couldn't possibly been him. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to send plays in, but I have no idea who that was called on. So then, that stops that drive, and then, then they moved it a little bit, and so that's when we had to kick back into a little bit of grind it out for me here a minute here, and let us regroup defensively, and we did. We went on. It ended in 3, but it was a 7-play drive that gave us an opportunity to regroup defensively, and then they only had 2 more drives. The third drive, I want to say they were backed up, got the ball, which we made a mistake, not fair catching that, you got to at least start on the 25, and we started on the 15. And then the fourth drive, I believe I'm not saying we could have scored, but you know what I mean, we're in pretty good shape. 1st and 10, moving the ball pretty clean, have an opportunity to score, but decide to run out the clock.
We will hit that double move to Wandale. Is that kind of the last step for this offense, is hitting those really explosives through the air?
Yeah, and I think you've seen that a lot more, this year, but we've also missed a few, but we've been a lot better at that, and even the inside fades. So when you're getting man, making it, beating guys when you're getting pressure is an area where we definitely have improved and need to continue to do that so that teams can't smother you. And there were times when we failed also, and probably lost the game. So we're just good, that's hard on a lot of people, not just us. You know what I mean? But you have to continue to recruit guys that'll make you pay. If you're a good balanced team and they're putting everybody up in your face, winning some outside one-on-ones. We've done that at times, and we need to continue to get better.
Since he's been an All-American, one other senior we should probably ask about is Darian Gerard, his impact.
That's a great point, because Darian really was he was really dominant this past Saturday. And he's been, you have a tendency to, I don't want to say take him for granted, because we don't, but I mean, people don't talk about him enough because he's a dominant player, and he played exceptionally well this past week. And that's really good to see a guy that is going to have a bright NFL future, really finishing, the way he is. That says a lot about him, and it'll help him, and it'll help us. And so he was very dominant.
I know you came back and wanted to compete at left, and it worked out to where right was a better place for you guys. Do you think, though, do you get the sense that he's helped himself NFL-wise just coming back?
I don't think there's any doubt. You saw the versatility, because when you're built like him as well, you could play you could just about play any position. Maybe not center, because he hadn't done that, but he's so big that he could be a dominant guard, but he's a tackle. He moves, he's so athletic, and his feet are so good, he can play tackle. He's just played so much right. He's comfortable there, and then we had Dare's on the left. He's built like a left, and so it fit us. And he was, again, being very unselfish. He could play right or left.
There's only, I know she's the only one in the starting offensive line that wasn't wearing knee braces. Y'all have any kind of philosophy on that now?
Yeah, I mean, we generally wear the knee braces when we can. Yeah. I thought they didn't want it. But he's had a couple other things bothering him that was not his knees. So whatever makes him comfortable at that point, I guess, because he's had a little heel injury, to be honest with you, or foot. Something bothered him. Yeah.
Football coach, you talk about drinking coffee to get you through the stresses. What is the coffee you prefer to drink?
What's my coffee? I could tell you, but then you guys are going to make fun of me. But,
Before that happens, we will close
so,
down
yeah.
for this. Thank you very much. We'll see y'all tomorrow.